Hi, I'm Draven Gray with the Silent Still and Rock Singing Lessons, and I would like to talk to you a bit about the singing course, The Four Pillars of Singing. Now, a little background first. I've taught over 100 vocal students in singing and screaming. I've also been a professional musician for about 25 years. That's like from licensing music to film and TV to performing in front of crowds of over 16,000 people. Guest starring on multiple albums, some selling over 1 million copies. And now I'm focusing my efforts on the modern vaudeville group, the Silent Still. Now, as a professional vocalist and especially a teacher, I've been through a lot of singing courses over the years. Looking for something that's more the best out there for rock vocals especially. But, if I had to go through something else, I was just looking for the best exercises I could find, the best teacher, getting to my goals and where I wanted to be with my voice, as well as to help out my students. Melissa Cross, her DVD series, it really helped me learn how to scream. Jamie Vendera, he helped me with grit a lot. There's some great teachers out there. Singing Success, Brett Manning's Singing Success. I went through that. It had some really good exercises, I'll give it that, but it was hard to follow. It only got me so far, so eventually I gave up on it. I went through the entire course, but there wasn't a whole lot of explanations of why I was doing the exercises I was doing. There wasn't very good organization of it all either. It seemed like I was doing a whole lot, but I didn't know why. Wasn't getting a lot out of it. Granted, I was already pretty developed as a vocalist, and I think there's a lot of stuff in there for a beginner that could help. Ken Tamplin, I checked out Ken Tamplin's Vocal Academy through one of my students, and I thought it was awesome. I thought it was gonna be the best thing ever, and I started struggling with some of the concepts because they were a little oversimplified, which is great. Again, great for a beginner. But, I kept looking because I thought I could find some better stuff for my students out there. With that one, like me and my student were still pushing our top notes pretty hard, no matter how much we tried to modify the vowels, which is one of the biggest things he talks about. It's one of his signature teachings about modifying as you go higher. There are a few more too, but all of them seem to fall short of what I was looking for, of what I was expecting out of them even. Now, I found the 4 pillars of singing. So I started showing eventually some of those videos to some of my students, and they had some major breakthroughs. It was like major breakthroughs, stuff that I hadn't been able to get them through, some issues with their voice, stuff like that. So, I remembered one of my students had one of the books from 4 Pillars of Singing books a while back, and I looked through it, and it really made sense. It was somebody who knew the voice extremely well, but also knew how to teach it. So they knew like the science and all that stuff, and they were obviously getting results from my students. I'm talking about Robert with the 4 Pillars of Singing, and I understood how he taught it. It just made sense. So it's like, okay, cool. Let's check this course out. Let's sign up to it. And first I started on the forum, kind of getting to know the people through the Modern Vocalist, and they seem really cool, really helpful. So it's like, okay, let's try it out. And so what I found was the most comprehensive and extensive course I'd ever seen. It's almost overwhelming at first, but Robert was really hands-on when I signed up, making sure that I wasn't overwhelmed, making sure I knew what to focus on that would help me get to my goals the fastest. And even Robert, all the quirkiness I thought he had, it really just made the videos more entertaining. All this science, these in-depth explanations were very easy to comprehend and to digest because of his personality. And not only that, guy has a heart of gold. Like, he really wants to help you meet your goals, and that started shining through. So he blew away my expectations of him, and the course kind of blew me away too. I would say his use of the term vocal athlete for a course like that is very accurate for. So extensive and really helps you get results. So I dove in head first, and I started getting massive results in my own voice. So much so that I started teaching it to my students as well, like these different exercises, and they started getting immediate results, to the point that a lot of them didn't even want to sing through songs anymore. They just wanted to go through those exercises because they were getting such big results out of it when they did finally go to sing. So all this training was like really benefiting them. I say, as a longtime singer and teacher, I built my own voice up quite a bit. I could sing comfortably. I could belt up to a G5. My head voice could go up higher than that. Actually, I would say I would belt more up to a D5, because the G5, I hurt my voice and couldn't sing for several months. So it wasn't comfortable. That was a lot of strain. But I could belt up to a D5. Still a little strenuous. Not too bad. I could pull it off, and my voice would get really tired after a few times of doing it. But, a D5's pretty good. G5 on the head voice really comfortably. That was pretty good. Even though I don't sing in head voice that much. I could go down to an E2. I had a pretty wide voice range that I'd already built up. Getting tired like that, especially on those high notes, when my songs were hitting like that C5 over and over, that got really frustrating. I'm sure you can relate with that in some of your own performances. The things I learned from 4 Pillars of Singing, I was able to strengthen my voice even more. I didn't think that was possible. I thought I'd kind of maxed out on that already. And my belting range, my head voice got even higher. It got like more controlled. Everything just got a lot stronger, and I had a lot more control, a lot more understanding of what was going on. The scientific side of it like really helped me visualize everything moving around and where it needed to be and what it was supposed to feel like. That really, really opened up my voice. I would say even cooler, one of the things that happened is through one of the exercises, I noticed certain movements in the voice that allow me to completely relieve strain from my upper range, like just completely. Suddenly, I could belt as high as my head voice would go. Now, my head voice had gone up to an A#5. That's pretty high. And then I could belt that too and have absolutely no strain in my voice. That was amazing. So those songs at like C5, D5, no problem. I could sing them for hours. A lot of that just came through the different types of exercises, getting more control, getting more understanding of the voice that came through 4 Pillars of Singing. I could even hit a B5 if I warm up to it a little bit. That just amazes me. And going into the studio and recording for a new album, I would sing something one take, and they'd be like, okay, well, you sound a little strained here. Let's change this here. And I would go back in and immediately be able to hit it. And I'd do it in that. The take after the critique was perfect. And like my whole band was super excited about that. And I was blown away. And it just kind of set that in even further, like the 4 Pillars of Singing is the go-to course. Now, I can't recommend it enough, honestly. It's the most extensive, most comprehensive, most fun, most engaging, and most understandable. It gives you the biggest and fastest results out of any course that I've seen out there. And I've gone through a lot. I've gone through a lot of teachers. You couldn't find a bigger skeptic. You couldn't find somebody who's more harsh on other vocalists. And, I'm being really honest here. I'm super critical of other vocalists. I'm super critical of teachers especially. And it's more that they need to prove it to me. They need to prove to me that they have control of the voice, that they can do well. And as a teacher myself, especially, I'm always looking for the best results for my students. And when I hear other singers that struggle, it's like, if they would only just change this one little thing, Well, the 4 Pillars of Singing, it impressed me from the get-go. If you want to become a vocal athlete, this is by far the best course you will find. So look into it. Look into it more. Do what you need to find out more about this course. It's cheap. It is so cheap. When you consider everything you get out of it, it makes it even more valuable. And it's only so much a year. Everything about it, even the price. It blows me away. Thank you.